Hey everyone, Jason here. I wanted to try and do an unscripted review for this one just because it's Christmas. I'm about to go out of town and I really wanted to get out a review for this movie real quick. But The Rise of Skywalker has come out in theaters. God, it's months of hype behind this one, and the end of an era, that last movie in the Skywalker Saga, as they're retroactively calling it. 9 films of the legacy of this single family. After this movie, Star Wars will never be the same. But honestly, I cannot help but feel meh about this movie. Like, it's just all right. Firstly, yes, it's entertaining. If you go in and you just want to see a Star Wars movie with laser swords and spaceships and magical space wizards, you'll be entertained. It's fine. It's fun. Their characters are still fun people to watch. They're still interesting action. There's still wonderful special effects. The set design and all of that. The music is still brilliant. I mean, I'm sad to see John Williams leave the series after this movie, but give the man a break. He's done like 10 of these. And fuck. And the sets still look brilliant. The amount of detail in them, the lights, the way it works, how all the doors open and how they move. It's the world of Star Wars is still fascinating to look at, and it's a world you still want to explore. But I I just don't like the plot of this movie that much. It's not bad, but it's not really good either. While I know in my Knives Out review I made a joke about how I wasn't really a big fan of The Last Jedi, and I'm not. I don't love The Last Jedi. I don't hate The Last Jedi. I'm kind of okay with it. Last Jedi had some cool ideas in it that I think it didn't explore properly. That was my biggest issue with it, and some of the subplots and some of it just was a little too goofy for me. But this movie, because I think of a lot of the negative fan reaction to The Last Jedi, really just backpedals, and instead of having that grayer morality that's there, it gets back to a black and white, yes, light side good, dark side bad, not the Force is just one of these things of nature thing. I'm repeating myself in terms of words. It's weird. I'll try better. But other than that, like, you had these cool ideas and they backpedal, and I'm going to try my damnedest to avoid spoilers for this. Um, but I do need to talk about the two characters who I have the biggest issue with in terms of how this movie presents itself, and that's Rey and Kylo. I'm just going to start with Rey because she is the protagonist. They reveal something about her that brings to attention what Kylo said in The Last Jedi, that her parents were nobodies, and they both are and aren't anymore at the same time. And it's one of those weird things that I'm like, why? I like that idea that they were nobodies, that anybody could use the Force, and now she's not. She is this connected to some other character, and it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna go down that route. And Kylo, who was set up for this really cool, like, even if they did go with the redemption arc in this no matter what, which, I mean, obviously they're going for a redemption arc. They've been setting that up since episode 7. That should not be a spoiler for anybody. He winds up having the exact same arc as Vader, and that's a problem to me. He is a character that they set up to be the ultimate evil, that he couldn't be redeemed at times, where they were going to try and find a way, but he still comes back, and it's in almost the exact same way that Vader comes back. Yes, the Emperor's in this movie. That was shown in the trailers. Everybody knew that going in, and he's found within like the first 10 minutes. So yeah, the Emperor's back, and there's an Emperor-Vader relationship in this. Of course there is. But those are like my two biggest gripes, and that really detracts from it because these are characters that I think they set up really interestingly, and they didn't pay it off in an interesting manner. They just put them in their roles in the universe, essentially. Instead of creating a new role, they put it back into a pre-existing role. And it took me a while to get invested in the movie. Most of the movie is just a quest for a MacGuffin that comes from another MacGuffin that they're trying to find. And that's, I don't know, it's what, it's like 2 hours 40 minutes or so, 2 hours 30, something like that. And for the first like hour and a half, hour 45, they're just looking for MacGuffins. Okay, I guess. And I know most of the people who really love Star Wars have probably already seen this, but for those who are on the fence, um, go see it. It's not a bad movie. It's just one that I probably didn't get as much enjoyment out of because I am not quite as invested in Star Wars as other people. I was always more of a Star Trek kind of person. I would always put Star Trek higher on a favorite movie list over Star Wars. But it's still entertaining. It's still fun. It just has issues with the fact that Disney decided to backpedal from where they were after the last movie. Instead, kind of just reveering back to what The Force Awakens did and be a warm, cozy blanket that you can step into instead of trying to push you out into the cold and be like, learn from it. It tries to be the something that the fans will like. But yeah, it's a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10. I don't know. I don't quite feel comfortable rating this movie right now because I literally got out of it like 30 minutes ago. And I'm sitting here recording, talking about it, and like processing my thoughts as I go. Maybe I'll do a more in-depth one like once it's out or I see it again, because I'll probably see it again with some friends. And go more in depth into where I have problems and issues. But other than that, 5 or 6 out of 10. I don't know. It might change.